Welcome everyone. This is Amanda with Crafting with Amanda, and I am a close to my heart maker and will be celebrating my 15th year here in a few days. So excited. So most of the products that I use are close to my heart. I am not a snob in that if there's a tool out there that works, I will buy it. I believe in quality and I'm very pragmatic. So what you see here is I went to a craft weekend a few days ago and I sorted all the rest of my memorabilia. But when I went to grab photos to do a layout, I really felt overwhelmed with the memorabilia that I had just sorted, and I wasn't up for trying to pair memorabilia and photos onto a pre-done layout. So those were the pre-done layouts, over 200 of them that I found in our move. So I pulled out photos from Christmas because I knew Christmas was a safe place because for the most part I don't have memorabilia, I just have photos. So I pulled out 4 different Christmases, and then I'm grabbing some layouts, and this has the right color for the middle photos there, but just wasn't going to work. And I saw the word toys when I was flipping through the pre-done layouts, and I knew that one of the groups of photos I pulled out had our youngest got this like craftsman plastic tool workstation with the hammer and the saw and the drill, and so the photos I thought would work really well with that because the focus was on the toy. And then this layout, I'm sorry that you can't see all of it, is a 4th of July layout, and all it says is fun. And so I'm learning to just use the colors in the photos, and if the colors work, then the rest of it I can figure out. So here I'm just trying different layouts, pulling them out. This is an old Sparkle and Shine, and all right, that'll work with Grandma and Grandpa. So, and those are from my youth. Like I think I might have been 7 or 8 in that one photo, but that'll be for a future day. The one that we're doing today is the 4th of July papers. And here I'm looking to see, I had stamped all around the edge of the white areas, fun time, fun time, fun time. And I wanted to see if there was a top and bottom to it. And there's not. The only thing that kind of indicated top and bottom was the word fun. And at this point, I didn't know that was going to come off. But later that gets removed, and the papers that came up when I removed it get covered over. And we just had a whole bunch of embellishment opportunities. So now you get to see I will transform this patriotic themed layout into a photos with Santa session. And the 2 photos that are on the right hand page in the upper corner, it's the same photo. It just one was closer than the other, or they're so close and when they were taken that, but I really liked the close-up of my son's face, but I like the overall picture of our oldest holding him on his lap. So it's just interesting. And I pulled out poinsettias and tags and the stars and a whole bunch of different things to just have as options for embellishing and journaling and that on this layout. And these poinsettias were cut for a wreath project that I did years ago for my monthly club when we lived back in Michigan. And it was kind of a Christmas gift and a thank you gift for supporting me over the years. And so I had cut out these big wreaths and all of these poinsettias. And so one poinsettia was assembled, so I'm trying to duplicate it. And what I did is I just did the outside edges, which kind of wrinkles the paper. It almost ripples it a little. So you want to make those wrinkles first, and then later you'll see, well, I will get the old outdoor denim ink because that's the same ink that was done on the finished one that was in the envelope. And I will ink the edges. But ultimately what I end up doing is not using that style. I actually went with a bone folder and made a more smooth curve of all the petals for the poinsettias I use. Because I ended up having 12 poinsettias in the blue, and there's 6 layers in each poinsettia, and so there was a lot of pieces, parts, and I just realized, I wasn't feeling the distressed one as much with this layout, so I went ahead and did the more smoother flower shaping. And I don't even know that you can see it as a difference in the photos. And I put the brad through on this poinsettia, and it actually ripped off of the back leaf. That's why I had to have glue to tack it down. Now these are brand new block letter dies. Well, brand new to me. They're on the clearance section on my website, and they're $28. And I think they're 1.5 inches tall. Maybe they're 1.25 inches. I think they're 1.5 inches tall. And the Close to My Heart dies, I find work really well cutting out 2 layers. So I'm doing one in white and one in the cranberry. You'll see that just one pass through and everything cuts out really well. So I need a second A, so I'm going to take the paper out of the A and re-put that back on the cutting mat and make the layers. So that's what we're doing here. Run that through and get my A. But anyhow, going back to, I apologize, these dies are on clearance for $28 for the whole alphabet. So I just think that's a awesome deal. In fact, so awesome I couldn't pass it up. I'm more of a go to my Cricut and cut it out, but these arrived this week and I think they're just perfect for this layout. So now I'm just consolidating. That's not what I want to say. But I'm just pairing up the white and red letters and deciding if I want red on top or white on top. And I decide that I want red to be on top and white's going to be kind of the offset. So what I do is I'm moving the red up and to the left just a little bit, just by hand, just by eye. And I'm going to move the photos around, and I'm learning, because sometimes I don't do this, and maybe you don't have this issue, but I need to take a step back from the creative process. I need to kind of stand up and look at the layout from a different perspective. And here, all I did, I cut off a tiny, tiny sliver of the photo. Just a tiny sliver. And yet it made all the difference in the world, in that now you can see under our youngest's chin, it's not like cutting him off there, which I think almost make it my eye is drawn to that, which I love. So just doing some photo mats, and this was my day of, I don't know, being all thumbs or clumsy. I dropped stuff. Glue didn't want to stay in my hand and it got on my fingers, and I didn't have it. I was going to keep it in the video because when I glued the T together, and you'll see that later, I actually got too much glue on it, and then when I went to clean it off, I got glue on my thumb, which then was on the top of the red part of the T. So I was going to show you how I use the rub and erase tool. It's just a little rubber square that Close to My Heart used to sell for erasing adhesive, and it took it right off. But it was just one of those that I was all thumbs when I was creating this layout. So I apologize for all of that, but we all have those moments. So here I'm being very careful in the placement of this poinsettia because it's covering up 2 spots where the paper ripped when I pulled the old title of Fun off. And now I'm going through and I'm ink distressing the edges of my mats. And I do 2 different versions. If you drag it across the top, you get a little feathery look. If you take the mat and drag it across the side of the ink pad, you get a little thicker line. It's more pronounced is probably the right word. And I do like using adhesive runner on photos versus glue, just because I think the adhesive runner is a little more forgiving for coming up, where the glue just kind of welds the paper together and you're going to lose paper chunks when you go to take it apart, which I did with the title Fun. So I'm auditioning these tags in different places, and I really like how this blue poinsettia kind of brings out the blue in the kids' jackets. And here you're going to see that I'm not photo matting the whole thing, and then I'm trying to space it so that the left border of the outdoor denim mat and the right border of the picture are the same spaced from the stamped Fun Times, Fun Times, Fun Times. And this is a very unique photo shoot for us. And in my journaling, I talk about that we don't really emphasize Santa at Christmas time. The kids get 3 gifts representing the 3 gifts to the wise men, and then we also do like a family gift of love, and it can be different things. Sometimes it's like the kids each got Kindle Fire back in 2012, and they didn't notice that mom and dad didn't get anything in that gift of love. But we were on a trip to Arizona for Christmas that year, so we really had to kind of figure out what we could take with us and what we could bring back with us and not have to ship it. So the Kindle Fires were a splurge, but we kind of set the kids up of, hey, this is what we're going. You're not gonna, we can't fill our suitcases to take out and come back with. And they were fine with it. They were actually thrilled. So it was a win-win. On the way back on the airplane, they both loved the Kindle Fire, so worked well. So going back to, we don't necessarily, we know about Santa, we talk about Santa, we talk about the story of St. Nicholas, and we just emphasize Jesus at Christmas in our house. So I had never taken the kids for sitting with Santa, because I didn't want to stand in line, but the Lions Club were doing a fundraiser, and so we went out to support that. And it's always good to experience new things. And our youngest, Nate, was just enthralled by this light up bracelet that the photographer's helper had on her wrist, and he just thought that was the greatest thing, and she would move that and his eyes just followed it, and it was a lot of fun. So here's my journaling that talks about the 3 gifts representing the wise men gifts and the gift of love. And this is my first time printing on the narrow strips of paper for journaling. I've cut journaling strips before and handwritten it, but I've never printed it. And this was kind of cool. I noticed when I glue it down later that I didn't trim off all the edges ahead of time. I did on these right ones, but I didn't when I did the left ones. And so when I go to glue it down, I realize, oh, this is too long. And so I end up with a glue spot that I will have an embellishment opportunity for. And I apologize for my bright light on the right page here, but I thought you might want to see the rest of the layout, even if you can't see that photo. So these are leaves. They're actually 2 cardstock layers thick that I had in my stash of stuff that had already been cut. And I know they're not poinsettia leaves and that they look nothing like, they're more like eucalyptus looking, I would call them. But they were big, and they covered some space, and they did what I needed to do on the layout, and they were already cut. So win-win. So now I'm just tucking these under, and you'll see that you have to kind of hold it down for a little bit. And then I'm going to glue these down, and this is when I realize that, oh, I didn't cut off the end of that. So before I glue this one down, I'll trim it, and then I'll go back and try to trim the other one. And you can't see it on camera, but my first strip has an embellishment opportunity to the right of it. And I don't think that I did anything about it before I finished the layout, but I will do something before I put it in an album, rest assured. So now we're just shaping these leaves again, taking any dry embossing tool will work. That's what I call this. And you push it into a thicker foam, a sturdy foam mat. Again, this is a tool that Close to My Heart had years and years and years ago, and I absolutely love it. And it works really well for giving support to the cardstock when you're embossing it, but also letting it bend into and give the fibers new shape. So I didn't have 5 of the leaves, I only had 4. So I'm doing a little surgery to make this one look like the end of a leaf. And then I'll tuck the top in under that flower and the bottom in that I've kind of done surgery on under the other flower. So now all 5 of the poinsettias have leaves under them. And here I had a lot of fun gluing this strip journaling down kittywampus, this one up, this one down, just giving it a more whimsical feel. It's not so tailored, and I think for this layout it works. So we're going to glue this last leaf down, and you see I grabbed a block to hold it down in place so that I could work on some other things. And I'm looking it over, and originally I had pulled out some silver Picture My Life cards, but the centers of the pre-cut poinsettias are gold, and it works. So now I'm kind of shifting gears, and I'm pulling out these gold pine boughs, I guess, and I'm going to kind of pepper them in. And if you've watched any of my videos lately, this seems to be my go-to thing. I just like how it looks. I was trying to decide if I needed a subtitle rather than Santa, and I couldn't come up with anything clever or fun that told the story, so those letters will just get moved off to the side. And those are again from an older pack from Close to My Heart, and they'll get put back away to be used again in the future. So I'm just tucking in these little gold pine boughs, I guess. I don't know what you'd call them, sprigs. And on the layout, like in the video, it doesn't show as much. On the layout, they really kind of help move your eye across the page so that you're not just stuck on one photo. Oh, now I'm moving here, now I'm looking here. And you'll notice kind of I did a flower in the bottom left, the journaling, up to the title with some more flowers, and then it almost makes like an arc back down to the other journaling and another swoop at the end just to see that last photo. So some of that is just some composition things, excuse me, to help keep the eye moving and enjoying all of the photos. And I love these little thread tangles. I'm almost out of this one spool of the gold thread. I did find another one that I had purchased. I have a brand new gold and silver, and this was before Close to My Heart sold them. That Close to My Heart does have gold and silver thread, but I'm using up what I have, and I really like how those look. They're there. They kind of break up the stripes in the background of the paper in the two placements that I did, but it's not so heavy of an embellishment, let's say, that's where your eye is drawn. It just gives some relief to the background paper and lets the flow continue. So that's it for this layout. I'm just finishing up here. I've really been enjoying trying to pair my old photos with my old layouts. Like I said, I finished sorting the rest of my memorabilia, and I need to consolidate some of those. And I'm considering taking my photos and the memorabilia and storing those together so that it's a little bit easier to grab one and I'll have the other. So here's the left page layout, pretty straightforward. I'm going to do a pan close-up for you. You can see in the left there how interested our youngest is with that glowing bracelet. And here we'll do another close-up for you, and you can just kind of see the fun that was being had. So I hope you have a wonderful day. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love it. Here's some more videos you might be interested in, and I hope you have a really blessed day. Thank you.